1201 Southwest 17th Street, just over the bridge. Penn Flooring, quality customer service with a family touch.
Ocala's information station, 1370 WOCA. Ocala.
All right, 5 minutes after 11 o'clock. Thank you for tuning in this Friday morning. It's kind of chilly out there. The other day, it was cold out, and Robin's mom brought in some pea soup. Or is it called split pea soup? What do you call it?
Split pea
Split
soup.
pea.
Made from scratch with the ham bone and everything.
So here's what it reminded me of. It reminded me of when I was a kid. My mom would make our meals, of course. And I remember one day she made some pea soup or split pea soup, whatever it was, and which I don't understand. Do you split the pea? And does it taste differently if it's not split?
I have no clue.
Well, anyway, and then she thought we wouldn't like it. I actually ended up liking it, but I remember my father saying, "These kids don't know what it's like to be poor."
Oh.
Because when my father was younger, he really was. His father left home, and so he was being raised by his mother, and so he had this poor childhood. And so by the time we came into his life, he had more money.
Yeah.
so I don't know that I ever experienced it, but I do remember trying to eat smart and frugally at the same time, and it wasn't always that easy. So we have a lady on the phone right now who probably could have helped me out.
Yeah.
She's got a book called Whole Food at Half Price, 30 Days to Healthy Living Without Breaking the Bank. So I'm all ears because I'm really trying to eat healthier, but sometimes you go and you buy, like when you go to the Mother Earth, whatever it's called,
Yes.
It's not always cheap, right?
No, it's not.
Annabel Ascher is on the phone. She is also known as the Frugal Goddess.
Yes.
She has lived the life of economic extremes, it says here, from great fortune to sudden poverty. Oh, I hope she went the other way. I hope she went back. I hope she's rich again. There she is. Annabel Ascher. Good morning, Annabel.
Well, thanks for having me. Glad to be here.
And where are you right now?
I am in California. I was traveling around the East Coast. I hit pretty much every blizzard you could hit, but I'm back now, and it's a cool 65 degrees. That's cold in Santa Rosa.
Santa
Wow.
Rosa. Oh, well, nice to have you on there. You got up early to be with us.
A bit, but the really hard ones are the 7 o'clock drive time shows on the East Coast.
Yeah. Because then it's that's 4 o'clock your time. Yeah. Well, thank you for being. But what I think you're going to talk about is really true. If I go get hot dogs and mac and cheese, I'm not spending much, but I'm compromising my health.
You are, especially because the hot dogs and mac and cheese are probably going to be out of a box. I mean, if you make scratch mac and cheese, that's actually not bad, and it's cheap. And that split pea soup you were talking about, that is a really wonderful winter dish, and it is cheap, and it is healthy. But, the healthy part, if you look at what every nutritionist agrees on. They disagree about a lot of stuff, but they agree on lots of fruits and vegetables and lean protein and good healthy fats, like olive oil. And that is what actually keeps you healthy. The one thing they agree on also is really heavy processed foods are bad, like heavy sugar. That high fructose sugar product.
There's one food that I love that I always thought was healthy, and then there was so much bad press about it, I stopped eating it. And then the media started coming up with good stories about it, and I went back to it. What I'm talking about is the egg, the incredible edible egg. What is your thought about the egg? It's a cheap food, but it seems like it's got a lot of good stuff in it.
It is a very good food, and that's why following trends isn't always the best thing. Let's think about what our great grandparents ate. Eggs were definitely on the menu, and they were not dying of modern diseases. They were working hard.
That's true.
They were eating all organic. The one thing I would say is, if you can grow your own eggs, that's the best. If you can buy them from a farmer up the street, that's the next best. You're going to pay a little bit more, but the quality is so much better. And you can bake with them. I mean, they really are a wonderful thing. Not quite the perfect food, but I don't think there is a perfect food.
It is such a great food. I'm an egg lover. Well, I like eggs with cheese. Is cheese okay?
Yeah.
Just about anything is okay as long as it's real food that has actual ingredients in it and doesn't have a lot of chemicals. I was flying the other day, and they gave me a little packet of honey roasted pretzels or something like that. I didn't eat them. I just saved the bag to take a picture of it because the list of ingredients was about 40 items, most of which couldn't be pronounced.
Oh, no. Who gave them to you?
The airline. But that's what people eat all the time. I mean, if you're going to read labels, read for chemicals. And then if it has a lot of chemicals or even any chemicals you can't pronounce and don't know what they are, just put it back and buy an apple.
It seems
plain organic apple or something like that.
It just seems like you really truly advocate healthy eating in all realms, because sometimes people are vegans, sometimes they're vegetarians, and then sometimes, you know, they like eating meat products. Do you like the fact that some people go all vegan, or are they missing something in their diet?
I think maybe B12, but other than that, it's mostly the quality of what you buy and that it's real. You know the difference between a piece of fruit and some kind of beat-up fruit product that, you know, may have artificial fruit additives or something like that.
Oh, yeah. Like fruit roll-ups.
Those are bad.
I mean, you eat fruit roll-ups or something like that, and some people love them, so I'm just talking about my own taste. But it's like, okay, it doesn't satisfy anything I like about fruit, and it certainly doesn't seem like candy. It's like, why bother? I mean, if you're going to eat junk food, you might as well just go for the Hershey bar or something.
And, you know, sometimes you do get a craving for something that's kind of on the bad list. And what I would say is, get the smallest quantity you can, and if there's a healthier alternative, like you know, let's say, okay, the hazelnut chocolate sauce, Nutella.
Yes.
The original Nutella has quite a few chemicals in it. It's put out by a big factory, you know, factory food corporation. But now there's an organic version, and you could probably make the same thing at home by melting chocolate and hazelnut.
I've heard Nutella so many times lately. Is it called Nutella or Nutella?
I'm not sure. I think it depends on what part of the country you're in. But
is it good? I've never had it.
It does taste good. It really is good. Yeah. But you can also get the organic, natural version, and that's much better. You know, you can have things that are sweet, or I used to call them dough balls, you know, bready, pastry-type products. Just make sure the ingredients are all things you can recognize.
Do you know what? You want to hear something weird? And you probably saw this too in California. We used to have this farmer's market not too far from here that sold what they called ugly tomatoes. And they were very, very cheap, but they tasted just like the pretty tomatoes.
Yeah, they were so good.
And then all of a sudden, ugly tomatoes became like a hip thing. So now in the grocery store, you see ugly tomatoes like $3 a pound. It's like, hello, I'll take the pretty ones now, because now the pretty ones are the cheap ones.
That's right.
The gentrification of food.
Yeah.
You know, hipsters do terrible things to neighborhoods and to food products. I remember way back when lamb was really cheap if you eat meat. And you could probably even get organic lamb pretty cheap. But then it became a hip thing to eat, and the price went right through the roof. And that's what you have to do to keep your prices down, is stay on top of these things and be willing to adjust. I mean, if you're fixated on one thing, you're going to pay a premium, because if they raise the price, you're stuck.
Yeah.
So if you're adaptable and you stick to the outside of the supermarket, or better yet, get out of the supermarket and get to the farmer's market where you don't have a big, you know, many aisles of processed foods to even look at. But let's say you are in a supermarket. Go around the edge. That's where your produce is. That's where your meat counter is, with actual real meat and a person that knows what they're talking about, hopefully. Everything good is on the outer rim.
That's how my mother shops. She doesn't go inside. She always goes along the perimeter, and that's where she gets her fruits and meats, and she's happy. Once in a while, she'll get ice cream now.
Well, you know, I like ice cream too, and I'll even make ice cream, but I understand that I really like to cook, so I'm in a different position. But I wrote the book for people who have been taught that cooking is scary, and maybe they've never cooked. They've been living on takeout and boxes, you know, from the freezer departments their whole life.
Yeah.
And it's not that hard. You can actually get past that. The first thing is to stop looking at perfect cookbooks with perfect pictures, because you're not trying to be a chef.
Oh, I like that. I like that.
Get dinner on the table, that's all.
Annabel Ascher is our guest. Her book is called Whole Food at Half Price. We need to take a little break. I can tell you one thing real quickly. That costs a lot of money if you buy it, and you can get it for free. It's water. I get my water from my faucet goes into the same bottle that I bought like 2 years ago.
Yeah.
Bravo, I say. I always drink tap water.
Annabel, we'll take a little break and we'll be right back. This is WOCA Ocala, and we'll be right back.
The weather is brought to you by myfwc.com. Safe boating is no accident. Sunshine, breezy, and chilly today. Highs in the mid-50s. Mainly clear, cold tonight. Overnight, though, 33 and then 45 along the coast with a shower in spots along the coast late tonight. For tomorrow, clouds will limit sunshine. It'll become warmer. There may be shower in spots, though, along the coast with highs between 71 and 75. From the Florida Weather Center, I'm meteorologist Joe Lundberg.
Hi, my name is Dr. Erica Olstein with A Better You Healthcare Acupuncture and Eastern Medicine. As primary care physicians, we use acupuncture to treat back pain, arthritis, migraines, allergies, high blood pressure, thyroid disorders, hormone imbalances, stress, and more using all natural medical therapies. We treat the source of your problems, not just your symptoms. For more information, go to abetteryouhealthcare.com or call today to set up your appointment. 352-615-5566.
Don't get caught without your daily source of senior deals. Pick up your copy of the Senior Voice newspaper. It's your source for schedule and events tailored to seniors, with information you need, like a list of free events in the area. We even have Tom's Picks, a free referral for people who are looking for a company to do work for them. Tom's Picks will refer the company to you that fits your needs, and all we ask in return is that you tell them where you heard about them. For more information, call Tom's Picks, 352-804-1223. And pick up your copy of the Senior's Voice at most any business up and down the 200 corridor.
Now read Ocala Downtown newspaper online.
All right, 16 minutes after, make it 17 minutes after 11 o'clock. Thank you for tuning in this Friday morning. Out in California, in Santa Rosa, is Annabel Ascher, and we're having a delightful conversation with Annabel. Her book is called Whole Food at Half Price, and if you go to her website, thefrugalgoddess.com, you can see she also has a blog on there and information about the book as well. And I just went to your website during the break, Annabel, and thank you for waiting through the break.
Very good. I'm back.
So have you always been, have you always been frugal, and have you always been a healthy eater?
Well, I've generally been a healthy eater. Probably the worst food times were when I really didn't have any money, and I was born into a family that had a decent amount of money, but then I took a different path. So I got frugal because I needed to survive when maybe the money wasn't flowing.
Right.
And then, things got better, and, through the 80s and 90s, and all of a sudden in 2008, it wasn't just me. Everybody got really beat up, including me. So I started to look around, and I thought, these people who are never going to maybe get back to where they were before shouldn't have to live a terrible life. They shouldn't be sad forever over money. What can we do right now to make life better, even if you're not going to get that $100,000 a year salary ever again? So that's how the Frugal Goddess was born. And I have been very frugal through that time. I was really glad I had those techniques. Yeah. And now I like it. Because I think you live a better life if you maybe think about what you really value and don't put a dollar sign on it.
That is words of wisdom right there, yeah.
You were talking earlier about the frozen food section. Do you think all those Weight Watching organizations are doing a disservice to people by having all of their meals ready-made and put in the frozen food section?
I really like the idea of losing weight, and I know it's hard, so joining an organization makes sense, but that is an arm that's meant to make money. And, some people are never going to cook no matter what, and they have to eat something, but it might be good to educate them on things they could make at home and really focus on that.
Yeah. So
if you eat light, healthy food, you probably will lose weight.
So
you don't have to go on a special diet. You just have to cut your portions down and look at the ingredients and make sure that it's actually food and not mostly chemicals.
Yeah.
Lifestyle change.
So let me ask you your thoughts on one food item that I have bought especially when money was tight for me. It's ramen noodles. Is there anything beneficial about? It seems like there's nothing in them, but it tastes.
Oh, that's very hard. And this is a conversation I've had when talking about the people that really are in trouble. I mean, they can't afford to buy normal food. They might have $30 left to last 2 weeks, or I mean, there are people like that right now.
Yeah.
So they eat the ramen noodles because they think they're filling up, and it feels better than not eating. But you would be better off to buy spaghetti and throw a little, hopefully, butter. But get 1 stick of butter and make it last all week. If you only ate spaghetti all week, you'd be, with a little butter and maybe some salt, you would be healthier than if you eat the ramen noodles and insist on putting that horrible packet. I mean, do not put that in your food. That's not actually food. Don't eat that.
Is it okay for people to cook at home like all week and then maybe one night a week treat themselves to go out to get something to eat at another place?
Absolutely. I say use the 90-10 rule or 80-20 if you really want to be loose about it, because you can't do everything. I mean, anything can't be done all the time. And we live in a social world where going out is a big deal. So if you're like, no, I can't go out with you because I have to cook my food at home, that's going to cramp you after a while, and then you won't do it. You won't stick to anything that isn't workable.
Good advice.
Annabel Ascher is our guest. The book is called Whole Food at Half Price. I want to find out what's actually in the book, but first I want to tell you I went to, what did I go to? TheFrugalGoddess.com, and then I somehow found some conversation you were having with some of your readers who left comments, which took me to your Facebook page, and now I'm a friend, and now I'm going to be a fan on the other one. Well, I won't be a friend until you accept me, I think. I think that's how that works.
She's got the power.
So I just liked you.
Got the power.
I just liked you on the other page. You're a peaceful. You have a peaceful face. I like your face. Is that a? Hope that's not an awkward thing to hear. But you've got a peaceful face. Anybody ever tell you that before?
No, but I really like peace.
I mean, pretty. I could say pretty, but everybody says pretty. But you've got a peaceful face. Look, Robin. Look, let me show Robin.
Yeah.
There she is. See? There she is.
Oh, look at her.
Peace and
she
health.
does.
All right. So tell me, is the book a cookbook?
The book has recipes in it, including some really simple ones like how to steam vegetables, how to boil rice, because those are the things that a person who never tried this before really need to know so they can make dinner or lunch or whatever. But it has how perishable things are. It has a whole section on not wasting food.
Oh, really?
If you want to cut your food bill, you might start with stop wasting. You could up your food bill by 33% by not throwing one-third in garbage.
I just thought of something. I want to hear your reaction to this. If I buy cheap chopped meat, like for hamburgers, most of it goes away because it's all fatty. Mm-hmm. If I buy leaner chopped meat, I have a bigger hamburger at the end of the whole thing, but it costs more money. So the pocketbook says go cheap, but I mean at the
economy.
What is your thought on that?
It's the same thing as buying the cheap shoes that are going to last 2 months and then go in the trash, as opposed to the expensive ones that you wear for 10 years.
Well, that's the way I look at it, too. I look at it, it's better to get the expensive, more lean meat, right?
You know, it's not about getting the cheapest food. It's about getting the cheapest food that will keep you healthy and that tastes good. Mm-hmm. Because cheap food, I mean, the market is flooded with horrible things that are not actually really food, but they're sold that way, that are very, very cheap because it's subsidized. But you go up a few notches. That's why I talk about organic food in here and local food. Local food is good because, like here in Sonoma County, we have a food swap, and people post on Facebook when they have too many tomatoes, zucchini, lemon cucumbers. I mean, there are a lot of farmers around here and urban gardeners. And they
really?
Too much. So if you want it, you can trade your eggs for their cucumbers, or
I wonder if we do that.
They'll accept cash, but you end up giving them $1 and you get a whole sack.
Oh, wow!
Because they want to get rid of them, and we're all people here. It really works pretty well.
What do you think about the shopper that shops every day for their meal on that day, or should we just go like once a week and plan out the meals?
That's me every day.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah, every day is a little problematic. I mean, it works in parts of France where they have a market, and the Mrs. takes her market basket and knows everybody. But around here, because you're driving probably, and because you get more temptation for things that aren't on your list the more times you go to the store.
Right.
But if you're really a small family, there are things like really perishable fruits and vegetables that you might want to go again. You don't want to buy too many raspberries, for instance, or fish. If you buy small quantities, they say buy in bulk to save money, but that's only true on a very few items.
Mm-hmm.
I like the bulk bins, and I talk about that in the book. A bulk bin are those big walls where they have, nuts and beans and rice. And
right,
yes.
right, yeah.
Buy just what you need. It's not going to go bad if you buy just the right amount.
Mm-hmm.
That's a good point. I don't know if this is connected to what we're talking about, but does a microwave destroy the nutrients? Does it harm, like when we cook with that kind of heat as opposed to a stovetop?
There's no consensus on that I've been able to find out.
Okay.
I'm not a big fan of microwaves, and I will go out of my way to heat up on the stovetop because I know that works. And the microwave, it seems like the food quality in this country started to go down about the same time microwaves came into,
Oh, really?
It doesn't taste that great. It cooks differently. So I say if you're really in a hurry, you're hungry, and you have something that you made yourself, 2 weeks ago in your freezer. Shopping your freezer is a really good idea, by the way. You make it in bulk, put it in small containers, and then pull it out when you need it instead of going to the freezer aisle. But, okay, so you microwave it. So what? At least everybody got fed.
Mm-hmm.
There you go. That's right.
If you have to, and sometimes, like if you're going to reheat coffee, let's say, which is, not the best thing in the world, but maybe it was your last cup that you had in the house, microwave is probably better than boiling it because it won't boil. You don't want to boil coffee.
No, I think that would be bad. Yeah.
How do you make the children aware of the healthiness of foods, but that those healthy foods are still good for you?
You have to start so young, and most kids now are on the third generation of not cooking, eating takeout. They think that Taco Bell is actually Mexican food.
Right.
Not.
It's not?
But it's almost like you have to trick them, unless you started out with them, when they were just starting to eat solid food, and that's all they ever got was good stuff. But I was talking to this woman who was making a pot of Annie's mac and cheese, which is better than the fluorescent orange cheese stuff, but it's still in a box. And we were talking about this, and she said, I really would rather give them real cheese, but they're fixated on this now. And I said, there's a couple of things. You could start putting a little real cheese in their boxed mac and cheese, and then just wean them off the powder.
Oh, that's a good idea.
Like making stovetop real mac and cheese, it's just pasta, cook it, throw in a little butter and a little bit of cheese, and maybe a tablespoon of cream or milk or something like that. Mix it up, put some salt and pepper on it, you've got it. But the kids don't see that as mac and cheese because they think the stuff in the box is the only stuff. The other thing is make the real mac and cheese and then call it Mom's Noodle Casserole.
There you go.
That's a good idea. That's a good idea.
It's something different.
Annabel, you're a delight. Thank you so much for being on the air with us today. The book is called Whole Food at Half Price. The website I went to is thefrugalgoddess.com. Thefrugalgoddess.com. How else? What other websites do you want to give us, and how else do we get the book?
Well, the book is on Kindle now, but it's going to be out in print in about maybe 3 weeks. We're just finishing up the design and all of that. And I'm going to come out with AnnabelAscher.com probably at the same time.
Oh, okay.
But for now, that's my main website.
And your last name is spelled?
Ascher.
Okay, that's what I have. Annabel, thank you so much for being on the air with us. And I just looked. I didn't know exactly where Santa Rosa was. I was thinking it was Southern California, but it's north of San Francisco.
Oh,
it's
nice.
It's a beautiful wine country, and we're in the wine country that's even better than Napa.
and real quick, do you advocate wine?
Yes, in small quantities, absolutely. Especially if it's, from a good producer. And we have some really good stuff here, so I can't say no.
All right. Well, thank you, Annabelle. That was fun. Thank you for coming on the air. I know that we have a listening audience that loves information about healthy foods, and if it's healthy food at a lesser cost, that's the best you can possibly get. Whole Food at Half Price, again, is the name of the book. Annabel Ascher is the author. Get it on Kindle right now, or wait a few weeks and you can get it in print. Thank you, Annabelle.
Thanks for having me.
All right, we'll be right back.
Fox News Radio, I'm Pat O'Neill. The White House says some 800,000 people who used healthcare.gov to sign up for health coverage were given the wrong tax information, and it's telling them to hold off filing their tax returns. Officials also announced a special sign-up extension. Much of the Northeast and South seeing record low temperatures. This New York City police officer